Good morning.
Good morning.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing 123, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We light this chalice with the words of the doctor. Love is always wise. Hatred is always foolish. This is a fierce, hopeful, transforming love, carrying us through time and space. May this flame remind us to hold love at the center again and again, bravely and wisely.
Good morning on this beautiful warm Sunday. Before I start the rest of the welcome, I want to tell you what these forums are about. Some of you may have seen the special e-news that came out on the 13th. This is your paper opportunity to submit nominations for the developmental ministry search team. So if you want to nominate yourself or others, you are free to do that online or by paper. If you do it by paper, you can fill it out at any time. You can put it in the offering or after service. Monica will have a basket on her desk back at the AV room. There will also be a basket out at the table that's by this wall that says welcome on it, or you can hand it to Monica or me. So you are free to nominate more than one person, either today or a different day. We just ask that you not nominate the same person multiple times. I am the Reverend Jenn Gracen, and I'm delighted to welcome you to St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church. Each Sunday, we gather as a community to seek truth, grow in love, and care for one another. And today, we also gather for a bit of extra imagination and adventure as we draw inspiration from Doctor Who and explore what it means to be brave. It doesn't always look like saving the world or facing down monsters, though the Doctor does plenty of that. Sometimes it means showing up with an open heart, listening deeply, standing up for someone who feels small, choosing protest, or simply choosing love, even when it's hard. As an official welcoming congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, we honor and value the racial, economic, cultural, age, physical ability, sexual orientation, and gender diversity of our members, friends, and visitors. Whoever you are, wherever you're from in time or space, you are welcome here. And a special welcome indeed to visitors this morning. We invite you to stop by the welcome table, which if you go out those stairs is just around that corner. And to join us for conversation and refreshments in our fellowship hall, Choral Pfeiffer, which is across the way through the doors, and it is open this week. There's a lot going on at St. John's. Be sure to check your order of service, the TV in the lobby, and our bulletin boards for upcoming events and ways to connect. Now please put your cell phones into church mode or TARDIS safe mode. And once again, a warm and brave-hearted welcome to St. John's.
Please rise and join me in singing 346. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me.
Of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. Sharing our joys and concerns is a sacred time in our worship together. It is a recognition that our whole self matters. The joys and sorrows, the delights and the worries that we bring with us into this room matter. Today especially, we share the joy and concern of fatherhood. We celebrate those who father and those who have fathered. And we offer sorrow and compassion for those who are missing their fathers and fathers who are missing their children today. And here at St. John's, we honor our joys and concerns by coming forward to place stones representing what we carry into the sand that represents the love that unites this community. If you would like a joy or concern to be read, please leave them on the table. And if you're joining us online, please enter them in chat. Kathy Rack is having knee surgery tomorrow. She says, wish me luck. Luck indeed. As I think many of you know, Charles Seibert's service and ice cream social, with emphasis on the ice cream social, as I understand, is this Saturday. Sarah will not be able to attend. She fell and broke her shoulder, and she's having surgery today, so she'll be in the hospital. So I invite you to send her love. Joseph says his niece, Sammy Jo, lost her husband unexpectedly, her husband, Robert. They live in Louisville, and her dad is driving up from Florida. It's a lot to hold. And we end with a joy from Lynn O'Brien, who says, the huge crowd who marched yesterday in honor of saving democracy. Amen. invite you into a spirit of prayer meditation with these words from the organizing strategy team of the UUA Side with Love campaign. Spirit of life, we gather with hearts broken open, souls aching by the weight of the world, by the wounds of history, by the cruel persistence of injustice. How long, O Spirit, must our bodies be made into battlegrounds? How long must the earth be sacrificed at the altar of profit? How long must we abide by an economy of disposability where Black, Indigenous, people of color, transgender, and disabled lives are traded for another's right to exist, another's claim of safety? How long must this world run on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen lives for the sake of greed and the lie of supremacy? We lament the silence that is stretched too long, the complicity woven into our comforts, the slowness of our response when urgency was demanded. We grieve the gap between our values and our actions, between the pragmatic and the prophetic. Forgive us for the times we have turned away. Forgive us for when we have mistaken quiet for peace and civility and decorum for justice. But let this lament not be the end. Let our sorrow carve space for resolve. Let our tears water the seeds of uprising. Let our faith rise from the ashes, not innocent, but braver, wiser, more centered in love. May we be a people who side with love. May we be a people who disrupt, dismantle, and who dream. May we be a people who remember that we are always on the horizon of transformation, and there may we greet our collective liberation. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. I'm going to invite Preston up for our time for all ages.
There's no rule. You can sit on the floor if you want. So could you guys, by the way. I know there's chairs, but if you want to sit on the floor, that's like totally allowed. One day, a wise teacher was telling a story to a group of people. It went like this. There was a traveler walking down a long, lonely road. As he went, a group of robbers jumped out, stole everything he had, and left him badly hurt by the side of the road. The poor traveler lay there, groaning, unable to get up or call for help. Soon a priest walked by. The traveler thought, surely the priest will help me. But the priest looked at him, frowned, and hurried to the other side of the road. Next came a very important temple official. The traveler hoped again, but this person also pretended not to see him and walked away. Finally, a Samaritan came along, a person from a group that the traveler did not get along with very well. If anyone was going to ignore him, surely it was this enemy stranger. But the Samaritan stopped. He saw the traveler's injuries and got down on his knees to help. He cleaned the wounds, bandaged them, and even put the traveler on his own donkey. Then he walked to the nearest inn and paid the innkeeper to take care of the traveler until his wounds healed. The teacher looked at the crowd and asked which of these people was truly a neighbor to the traveler. One person said, "The one who showed kindness and helped him." "Go," the teacher replied, "and do the same." So that's a story that we all hopefully have heard once or twice before. Called the Good Samaritan. It's biblical. So, have any of you ever been surprised by unexpected kindness? Sorry, I should be more clear. I'm looking for like stories. I want you to tell me. Yeah. Okay. Are there specific Specific examples?
My car broke down on a bridge one time in Cincinnati, Fourth Street Viaduct, whatever, late at night, and a guy in a truck stopped and came to help me, and the car could not move, but he drove me to the nearest place. It was about 11 o'clock at night. I
Fantastic.
was very apprehensive, but he drove me to the nearest service station where I could get somebody to come tow the car. I was very grateful. He wouldn't accept any money or anything.
A lost traveler, and he puts you on his transport. That's a dead ringer.
I took Nina for a long walk in the Arizona desert near sunset. We got lost, and we couldn't get back to our car. And a guy saw our plight, and he drove us to our people.
There was one, yeah.
Charles helped me back out my car for me when the parking lot was so jammed and full. I was just sitting there hopeless.
Fantastic. I love that all of those stories have to do with travel in some way. That's very cool. So why did the priest and the temple leader not stop to help? This is also a response question. They're all responses. After that, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I can get out here, can't I?
I didn't say that. You said the priest. Oh, but too busy.
Too busy? Okay, okay.
They thought God would help.
They thought God would help instead. I like that. I like that answer. That's an interesting one.
They were probably on their cell phones.
Because the only people who were people were their people, and not anybody different.
Okay. Oh,
Because obviously what they were doing was too important to waste their time on someone who didn't matter.
someone who didn't matter. That's an excellent segue into the next question. Thank you. How do we decide who deserves our help? How do you decide who deserves your help?
They look like me.
If they look like you?
I just have to decide if I have the energy and the time to commit.
Energy and time. Spoons, if you've ever heard that analogy before. How many spoons are available? Hi.
Very simple, everyone.
That's my favorite answer so far. She said everyone. Yeah, that's kind of what I like to think about it as. If I don't have the energy or the time, unfortunate, but everyone deserves our help, I think. Oh yeah. I think that's good. We can't help everyone, right? If we could, then there would be no problems. I know if I could help everyone, there would be no problems. So what are some ways that we can be like the Samaritan in the story? Also specific examples, if possible.
One way you can help everybody is to elect Democrats.
So you could be like this stranger who helped me last week. All the trash cans in my alley were tipped over, and they were full of trash, and it was all over. And this guy who doesn't live in the neighborhood and was just driving by and saw that, he got out and walked, like down a block to start picking up the trash. And when I came out, he was already like half done. So just if you see something that needs to be done, do it, and that's going to help somebody else.
If you feel safe enough and you have it in your car, you could stop by the folks who are begging by the side of the road, give them a snack, but also a list of referrals. And if they have the dog, you can give them some dog food.
Lovely. Yeah, there's little care packages that you can get that are full of helpful goodies that people don't typically receive from cars. All right. Well, thank you guys for your input. I really appreciate it. It saves me from having to answer all the questions myself up here awkwardly. Fantastic. I did. You know, this guy's saving the day.
May our minds be open to new learning. May our lips bring truth into the world. May our heart know love and our hands do the work of justice as we go away in peace. May our minds be open to new learning. May our lips bring truth into the world. May our hearts know love and our hands do the work of justice as we go our way in peace. As we go our way in peace.
The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place, to these people. It is as much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It's a reminder of that form of love we call generosity, and it is how we show that we believe it is important to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith. Thank you for your offering. So who knows Doctor Who? Okay, I'll cover this in the sermon, but I realize the readings are from Doctor Who. So a very brief summary. British TV show Alien Who Can Regenerate, which was very clever because the shows lasted decades. But it's a key feature of the show. So this first part of the reading, I'm doing little bitty speeches from several of the doctors. The first one is the 12th part of the 12th Doctor's regeneration. And he's talking to himself so that his next self will remember what he said. And he says, "Oh, there it is. Silly old universe. The more I save it, the more it needs saving. It's a treadmill. Yes, I know they'll get it all wrong without me. Never be cruel, never be cowardly, and never, ever eat pears. Remember, hate is always foolish, and love is always wise. Always try to be nice, and never fail to be kind. Laugh hard, run fast, be kind. Doctor, I let you go." The second one is from the third Doctor, and he's talking to soldiers. And he says, "When you get back to Skaro, you'll all be national heroes. Everybody will want to hear about your adventures. So be careful how you tell the story, will you? Don't glamorize it. Don't make war sound like an exciting, thrilling game. Tell them about the members of your mission who will not be returning. Tell them about fear. Otherwise, your people might relish the idea of war, and we don't want that." The fourth Doctor is speaking here. "The very powerful and the very stupid have one thing in common. Instead of altering their views to fit the facts, they alter the facts to fit their views, which can be very uncomfortable if you happen to be one of those facts that needs altering." And I wanted to end with the 11th Doctor, who says, "The way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. The good things don't soften the bad things, but vice versa, the bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant. Add to the pile of good things." Thank you.
If you'd like to rise, singing 1021 Lean on Me and the Teal Hymnal. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load. If you just call me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
So, how many of you attended or saw pictures from one of the protests yesterday? There was so much creativity out driving those gatherings around the country. I saw some very interesting signs. You? I saw enough to know not to ask you what you saw. There was creative art, insightful phrases. Many rallies and marches had musicians performing and dancers dancing. Creative expression has been central to every successful movement. We forget that at times, but it's true. I believe it's the artists, the creative people, who teach us how to remain connected to our humanity in difficult times. Musicians speak directly to our emotions, the glorious messiness of humanity. Visual artists show us in ways we can't always articulate who we are and what can be found in this world. And then there are the storytellers. Stories offer us the opportunity to look at ourselves and our relationships, to see an issue or a situation from a perspective that just might give us insight we would have missed otherwise. And so if you will humor me this morning, I want to tell you more about one of my favorite fictional stories, The World of Doctor Who. For those who haven't encountered Doctor Who before, I warn you, it's a bit of a wild ride, but it's worth it. So let me set the scene a little bit more. Doctor Who is a British TV show that premiered in 1963. It ran until 1989 and then was rebooted in 2005 and is still on today. There are over 890 episodes. The premise of the show is that the Doctor is an alien from the planet Gallifrey. He's a Time Lord who can travel through time and space. The Doctor nearly always travels with at least one human companion, and he is sometimes grumpy, but often generous and wise. He never uses weapons, but solves problems with his brain, his friends, and his sonic screwdriver. He has a particular interest in Earth and humans, having witnessed the birth of our planet and having seen our capacity for both great evil and great good. So he works to protect Earth and its people. Of course, this comes with some risk. Despite being a Time Lord, the Doctor can die. When killed, the Doctor regenerates into a new body. And the Doctor's new body can be younger or older and has at least a couple of different times been female. And I'll refer to the Doctor by he, him pronouns in the sermon, both because that is his most frequent form and because that's who he is in the particular episode we're exploring today. The Doctor's spaceship is called a TARDIS. TARDIS, T-A-R-D-I-S, stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. The TARDIS takes the shape of a 1960s British police box, because that's what it was when its ability to change form broke. Also clever on the part of the writers. And while the police box is small on the outside, the inside of the TARDIS is quite massive, bigger on the inside. In the episode titled The Beast Below, the Doctor and his companion, Amy, travel in the TARDIS to a starship traveling through space in the 29th century. The starship is the United Kingdom, bolted together and traveling through the stars. Yes, that United Kingdom, but in space. It's the 29th century, after all. A lot has changed. The Doctor says that solar flares roasted the Earth and that human beings moved to the stars until the weather improved. The Doctor warns Amy that they are not to interfere with the people and culture of the place, a restriction the Doctor immediately disregards when he sees a child crying quietly. He identifies that the city is in trouble and the people are living in a police state. Everyone is afraid of something that they're not talking about. Citizens who underperform disappear and no one questions out loud or quite understands why. Because they are afraid to even talk about their fear, they can't help a child crying alone. And when there's a hole in the road, it's covered and people stay away. They don't talk about it. Amy, of course, investigates and is captured. She wakes in what turns out to be a voting booth. She learns that every 5 years, adults on the ship are shown a video about what's really going on. They are told at the end of the video they can choose to forget and enjoy the safety of Starship UK, unburdened by the knowledge of what has been done to protect you. Or they can protest. And she's warned that if even 1% of the citizens protest, the program ends. There's a lot going on in that scene, including the power of protest itself. As we know from the massive protest yesterday, protesting not only sends a message to the leadership that we do not believe they are behaving in correct ways, it also allows us to show one another that we are not alone, that we are not the only ones pushing back against injustice, inequity, and as my daughter would say, people who are being mean. But back to the Doctor Who episode. Amy is told that when solar flares came to the Earth, the United Kingdom didn't get off planet in time. They were dying, the children were crying, and a star whale, the very last of its kind, came like a miracle. The people of the UK captured the star whale, built their ship on top of it, and rowed it to safety. But they kept it prisoner, giving it shocks to make it move. And they knew it was a terrible thing to do, but they felt desperate. In fact, the Queen herself found out what was going on about every 10 years and had to decide if she too would forget and be a pure leader, as they said, or if she would abdicate and end the program, free the whale, and let her people die. So when Amy finds out what these people had done, she too chooses to forget. The crying child they helped at the beginning says everyone forgets. As I considered the implications of that, of course I thought about today. There's so much going on in our world that feels out of our control to influence, to improve, to change. And we're being fed a steady diet of fear. And I wonder if the goal is to get us to the point where we feel like we have no choice but to forget. To not hit that protest button like so many did yesterday. The people of Starship UK were living under a police state. They were afraid of what would happen if they talked about what was going on. They were afraid of what would happen if they protested, so they just stopped talking to each other. They stopped letting each other know their concerns, stopped helping people see that they weren't alone. But of course that was fiction. What about here in our world? How do we avoid getting there, getting to the point where we can't hit the protest button? Are there things we can't talk about today? Are there things we aren't paying attention to because we don't feel like we have the power to change or influence it? Or because we're afraid of what will happen if we say something? Before we go a little deeper into that, I want to give you a summary of how the rest of the show goes because that matters too. The doctor, as he always does, chooses to protest. And this is when we find out that even the option to protest is a trick at this point. Starship UK has gotten to the point where the option to protest was only a nod in the direction of freedom, rather than a real power to change the state of things. If you hit the protest button, the starship dumps you into a hole, and the only way out is to forget or be eaten by the creature. Only then we find out the creature doesn't eat children, ever. The doctor, at this point, discovers that the star whale is being tortured, and he's faced with an impossible choice to let all of UK die, let the star whale suffer, or let the star whale die in such a way that it will still fly. He decides to end the star whale's pain and declares that he will then have to pick a new name because he won't be the doctor anymore. Amy stops him. I love that it isn't the doctor here, the main character, who gets it right. It's the human. She realized something no one else did. The star whale didn't just happen upon Earth. It came because the children were crying. Just as the doctor decided to interfere because a child cried. The star whale chose to save them. Amy forces the queen to press the button to abdicate her throne and end the program, which stops the torture. What everyone feared doesn't happen. The star whale doesn't abandon the ship or break it up, it just starts moving faster. Here in our real world yesterday, there was a military parade in Washington, D.C., designed in part to remind us how much has changed in the United States in the last 6 months, and designed in part to make us afraid to protest. And yet protest we did. Millions pressed that button. For some, the risks of deciding to protest were much greater than for others. Protests in LA, for example, were more dangerous and daring right now than protests here in Cincinnati. While many of the protests in Minnesota were canceled, those who did so knowing an assassin was at large, who had just killed a lawmaker and planned more violence. But every protest was taking some chance. Virginia and I decided we would take Addie, our daughter, with us to a protest, but went to a rally in Claremont County instead of the big march here in the city. We thought it would be safer and more manageable with a 4-year-old. And to be honest, we expected maybe 50 people or so would be there at Veterans Memorial Park. But we had underestimated the people of our neighboring county. The crowd was huge. There were hundreds. The energy was great. Parking was not so great. Almost everyone who drove by honked and waved in support. And I know those of you who went to the protest here experienced this even more. Our society is being pushed towards making speaking out frightening. Those who protest are being labeled insurrectionists by the very people who pushed for and pardoned the insurrectionists on January 6th. But Americans seem to be remembering Timothy Snyder's first lesson in his book On Tyranny: do not obey in advance. Do not let fear, as understandable as it is, trick you into ignoring what you see, into choosing to forget. Do not let fear make you avoid the protest button. When I visited a Holocaust museum some years ago, they were giving out buttons that said, "Never again, never forget." In other words, don't forget, just to continue living unburdened by the knowledge of what has been done to protect you. And yet we are seeing that happening. Of course, I'm not just talking about changes here in the US. The pressure to forget is worldwide. Consider Gaza. The attacks on Gaza are deliberate attempts to eliminate innocent civilians. The people in Gaza are starving. They are not receiving medical care. or adequate food, and the claim that this is necessary is a lie. The leadership of the two sides fighting one another are at fault for this, not the civilians. And the response of the United States at this point is to provide more weapons and to make claims about moving everyone out of the Strip so it can become a resort. We must continue to speak with one another about what is happening. We cannot press forget. We don't want to be on the other side of this time in history knowing we chose that button. So what does that mean? Like the Doctor's TARDIS spaceship, the possibilities are bigger on the inside. First, you have to take care of yourself. As they tell us on the plane, none of us can help another without putting on our own mask first. Choosing to protest rather than forget is a long-haul response. So you need to get sleep, move your body, eat food, talk to people you trust and love, take a break when you need it, take care of yourself, and speak out. Be a patriot. And if that word makes you twitch, reclaim it. Being a patriot is not the same as being a nationalist. It is not what we are seeing in this country today. Being a patriot means speaking up for the ideals this country aspires to, not the ones we live into when we are at our worst. Pay attention to the people who are talking about what's happening. Heather Cox Richardson is one of my favorites, but she is far from the only one. Pod Save America is another good one I've heard about recently, and I'm sure other people know some. Be willing to make mistakes, because you will make them, and the movements you join will make them. And that's okay, because we're universalists. We don't believe in eternal damnation just because a few mistakes were made. Get up, dust off, learn from the mistakes, and keep working for the salvation of all, just like our Universalist ancestors did. And finally, don't forget the ones who are suffering that no one is talking about. When you hear the quiet cries, when you learn the truth, try to do the next right thing. My beloved spiritual companions, like the Good Samaritan in our parable today, may we always choose to see those who need us, to help, even when we are scared, even if they are not part of our community. And when something is wrong, may we always push the protest button, even if we don't know what doors that might open. May we always hold on to the faith that there is something bigger on the inside. Blessed be. Amen. I want to invite you to take a couple of minutes to greet those around you or somebody who's far across the room from you. Share whatever you would like, but if you know some good resources, feel free to share those. Or your favorite signs. We have just a little bit left to go, and I know many of you really like Blue Boat Home, so I'll hurry with the announcements so we can get there. I draw your attention to the announcements in the order of service, particularly Howard is doing a presentation tonight on the Trump appeals at the Supreme Court. It's at 7 p.m. tonight. Also, as we mentioned earlier, Charles Seibert's Celebration of Life is here at 2 p.m. on Saturday. I invite you to read these. And as we said at the beginning, if you have the form to nominate search committee members, you can fill that out. And Monica has a basket, or you can hand it to me or a board member. You can also do it online. And you can nominate more than one person, just not the same person over and over. Meredith.
Where is it online, please?
There was an e-news that was sent out on the 13th. If you did not get that and would like it, email me or a board member. And if you don't know how to email me, my email address is on the back of the order of service. That seems valuable to point out once in a while. Anybody, is there any other announcements that I missed? No? Okay, excellent. Let's do Blue Boat Home.
Rise and body or spirit. It's 1064. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply these starry skies, he's leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Do what you can, help who you can, love as fiercely as you can. Because being brave isn't about not being afraid, it's about showing up anyway. May we leave this place ready to travel through time, our own time, with hearts open, minds awake, and the deep knowledge that even the smallest acts of kindness can save the world. Go in peace, go in love. Blessed be.